ਵੈਲਕਮ ਟੂ ਦਿਸ ਐਪੀਸੋਡ ਆਫ ਦਾ ਹਰਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਸਿੰਘ ਸ਼ੋ। ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਇਸ ਸੈਗਮੈਂਟ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਮਹੱਤਵਪੂਰਨ ਵਿਸ਼ੇ 'ਤੇ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਲੋਅਰ ਮੇਨਲੈਂਡ ਤੇ ਹੋਰ BC ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਰੀਅਲ ਏਸਟੇਟ ਪ੍ਰਾਈਸਿਸ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਕੋਈ ਰੋਕ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੱਗ ਰਹੀ। ਇਸ ਦਾ ਮੁੱਖ ਕਾਰਨ ਕਿਹਾ ਜਾ ਰਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਫੋਰਨ ਬਾਇਰਸ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ, ਉਸ ਕਾਰਨ ਇਹ ਸਭ ਕੁਝ ਚੱਲ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ। ਇਸ ਬਾਰੇ ਅੱਜ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ ਮੇਰੇ ਕੋਲ ਸਟੂਡੀਓ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਹੁੰਚੇ ਹੋਏ ਨੇ ਮਿਸਟਰ ਜਾਰਜ ਲੀ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਇੱਕ ਨਾਮਵਰ ਵਕੀਲ ਨੇ ਵੈਂਕੂਵਰ ਤੋਂ। ਆਓ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਕੋਲੋਂ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਲੈਣੇ ਕਿ ਕੀ ਮਾਰਕੀਟ ਵਿੱਚ ਚੱਲ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ, ਕਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਪਰਿਸਥਿਤੀਆਂ ਨੇ, ਕਿਹੜੇ ਚੇਂਜਸ ਆਉਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਸਮੇਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੇਖਣ ਨੂੰ ਮਿਲ ਸਕਦੇ ਨੇ। ਸਵਾਗਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਮਿਸਟਰ ਜਾਰਜ ਲੀ ਦਾ। Welcome to the program.
Hi, thank you.
Welcome, thank you. So, Mr. Lee, a little bit about yourself. Since how long you have been practicing law?
Okay, I've been practicing law in BC for over 16 years.
Okay.
I'm in the business of real estate transactions and immigration business. So, for the past 16 years, I've personally seen up and down of the Vancouver real estate market, but mostly on the uptrend.
Okay, so when you talk about immigration and then real estate, you know, these two things are very related today, and there's a lot of talk about it, and especially from people who come from China. You have been also writing for newspapers also, and in one of your articles you have mentioned that the real estate market will continue the way it is going right now. What makes you to talk about this, that the market will continue like this only?
I've been watching this market for over 16 years, as I mentioned. So I've been helping people to come over from overseas, especially from mainland China, including Hong Kong and Taiwan. People from overseas want a piece of property in Vancouver. The most important thing for them for right now is the federal immigration policy over the foreign young students. We have a fast-track immigration system for just prioritize the foreign students to become a permanent resident. So I'm going to tell you the program is here.
Yeah.
So most people from China, they want to send their children into a Canadian educational system. Mostly out of two concerns, as they say in China: pollution, competition, pollution, and education. Okay. So they think our Canadian system or American system or North American system is a far more superior system in terms of education. Okay. So they have their ambition and wishes to send the children to overseas to receive education. This is a primary concern, because they think the traditional education there back in China have failed them, have disappointed them in terms of competitions. Because the students there have lots of huge burden to get into the education system in China.
Right. So that's a great point what you have brought forward. But tell us a little bit about China, because general impression amongst the people about China is it is a closed country, it's a communist country, people are not rich there. That's the general impression. Now, when it's every parent wants their child to get the best of education what they can provide, tell us what is the situation right now in China, which is bringing in droves the students as well as the immigrants over into Canada?
Okay. The overall situation economically is very good. The people there make lots of money out of real estate transaction or out of some other consumption transaction, foreign trade, etc. But the problem is people have fear over the political situations in the future, I believe. And they want to transfer the money, move the money outside of China market.
Canada is now welcoming immigrants, as you said, but when you talk about the policies which have changed, the system of visas, long-term visas, and then the super visa. So students come here, study, and then the parents can also come. So what makes them come to Canada only? Why not to other countries like, for example, Australia or New Zealand?
I think the major things are 3 points. First, Canadian education system is well above the average. It's a great system, and it's close to American great universities. So they have sometimes some people that come over here and study for a while and transfer to United States American system, which is okay for them. This is a great attraction for them. Second of all, this country is friendly, beautiful. It's more immigrant friendly compared with Australia, maybe some other countries, including United States. So people, Canada is among most popular countries
Right.
talked about in China, maybe just behind the United States.
Okay.
So another thing is very important thing here, as I just mentioned, that if you obtain the visa a study permit here, the whole family
can come.
could become a Canadian citizen or
Right.
permanent resident in the long run.
Right.
It is a whole worth of investment in the first place.
Right. So these are the major factors which bring the immigrants, especially from China, into Canada. Let's go for a short break. We'll be back and learn more from you with your experience about the real estate market as such, because a lot of people have been talking about that this market might burst, and but you think in your writings, what you have we have read in the Vancouver Sun and other places also, that no, this market is going to remain strong, and especially a lot of Indo-Canadian community is involved in real estate. So we'll learn from your expertise after this short break. ਹੁਣ ਤੱਕ ਜੋ ਅਸੀਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਕੀਤੀ ਉਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਮਿਸਟਰ ਜਾਰਜ ਲੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਇੱਕ ਨਾਮਵਰ ਲਾਇਰ ਨੇ ਵੈਂਕੂਵਰ ਤੋਂ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਇਮੀਗ੍ਰੈਂਟਸ ਚਾਈਨਾ ਤੋਂ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਇਸੇ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਰਹਿਣਗੇ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਦੀਆਂ ਪਾਲਿਸੀਜ਼ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਵੈਲਕਮ ਕਰ ਰਹੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਇਮੀਗ੍ਰੈਂਟਸ ਨੂੰ। ਖਾਸ ਤੌਰ 'ਤੇ ਨੌਜਵਾਨ ਪੀੜ੍ਹੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੈ ਵੱਧ ਚੜ੍ਹ ਕੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਆ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ ਪੜ੍ਹਨ ਵਾਸਤੇ। ਜਦੋਂ ਮੈਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਪੁੱਛਿਆ ਕਿ ਕੀ ਕਾਰਨ ਹੈ ਕਿ ਕੈਨੇਡਾ ਨੂੰ ਹੀ ਇਹ ਆਮ ਤੌਰ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਫੋਕਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਰੱਖ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਅਤੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਜ਼ਿਆਦਾ ਲੋਕ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ, ਅਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਪਹਿਲੀ ਗੱਲ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਦਾ ਐਜੂਕੇਸ਼ਨ ਸਿਸਟਮ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਹੈਗਾ ਹੈ। ਨੰਬਰ 2 ਕਿ ਇੱਥੋਂ ਦੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਲੋਕ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ ਉਹ ਵੈਲਕਮਿੰਗ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਇਮੀਗ੍ਰੈਂਟਸ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ, ਯਾਨੀ ਕਿ ਇਮੀਗ੍ਰੈਂਟ ਫਰੈਂਡਲੀ ਹੈਗੇ ਨੇ। ਅਤੇ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਰੀਅਲ estate ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਸੰਬੰਧਿਤ ਇਹ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਇਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਜੁੜੀਆਂ ਹੋਈਆਂ ਨੇ, ਇਹ ਅੱਗੇ ਨੂੰ ਜਾਏਗੀ, ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਨੇ ਬਾਅਦ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪੇਰੈਂਟਸ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਇੱਥੇ ਆ ਕੇ ਸਪਾਂਸਰ ਹੋਣ ਦਾ ਮੌਕਾ ਮਿਲ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ। ਆਓ ਬ੍ਰੇਕ ਤੋਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਕੋਲ ਹੋਰ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰਾ ਇੰਡੋ-ਕੈਨੇਡੀਅਨ ਭਾਈਚਾਰਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਰੀਅਲ estate ਨਾਲ ਜੁੜਿਆ ਹੈ, ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਇਨਫੋਰਮੇਸ਼ਨ ਮੁਤਾਬਿਕ ਕੀ ਕੁਝ ਸਿੱਖਿਆ ਜਾ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ, ਹੋਰ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ। ਟੋਰਾਂਟੋ ਵਿੱਚ 1990 ਤੋਂ ਚੱਲ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈਸਾ ਡਰਾਈਵਿੰਗ ਸਕੂਲ ਹੁਣ ਲੋਅਰ ਮੇਨਲੈਂਡ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਰਵਿਸਿਜ਼ ਪ੍ਰਦਾਨ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ। 28 ਸਾਲ ਤੋਂ ਵੱਧ ਐਕਸਪੀਰੀਅੰਸ ਰੱਖਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਹੈਸਾ ਡਰਾਈਵਿੰਗ ਸਕੂਲ ਟੀਮ ਤੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਵੀ ਗੱਡੀ ਚਲਾਉਣੀ ਸਿੱਖ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਸੇਫ ਤੇ ਵਧੀਆ ਡਰਾਈਵਿੰਗ ਕਰਨ ਲਈ ਕੁਆਲੀਫਾਈਡ ਇੰਸਟ੍ਰਕਟਰਸ ਤੋਂ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਲਓ। ਔਰਤਾਂ ਲਈ ਖਾਸ ਵਿਮਨ ਇੰਸਟ੍ਰਕਟਰ ਹਨ ਤੇ ਸਟੂਡੈਂਟਸ ਨੂੰ 1-on-1 ਟ੍ਰੇਨਿੰਗ ਦਿੱਤੀ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ, ਜਿਸ ਨਾਲ ਉਹ ਆਸਾਨੀ ਨਾਲ ਲਾਇਸੈਂਸ ਲੈਣ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਾਮਯਾਬ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਹਨ। ਕਾਲ ਕਰੋ ਸੁਖਵਿੰਦਰ ਗੋਸਲ 6042208094 604-220-8094। ਸਵਾਗਤ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਜੀ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰ ਫਿਰ ਆਪ ਸਭ ਦਾ ਅੱਜ ਦੇ ਸੈਗਮੈਂਟ ਵਿੱਚ। ਮੇਰੇ ਸਾਥ ਦੇ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ ਮਿਸਟਰ ਜਾਰਜ ਲੀ। ਆਓ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਕੋਲੋਂ ਹੋਰ ਜਾਣਕਾਰੀ ਲੈਂਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਰੀਅਲ estate ਦੇ ਸੰਬੰਧ ਵਿੱਚ। So before the break, like I was asking you, that a lot of pundits have been talking about, economic pundits and even other people have been talking that this market has now reached its peak. The time has come when it is going to burst. But according to you, with your experience, tell us today that what do you feel? What are we going to foresee in the future in the market? Is this market going to burst? Are the prices going to be, like the way they are now, or they'll come down?
I only can speak from my personal experience. I'm not a professor in economy. I'm not a real estate broker professional. For the past 16 years, I've experienced those markets trends already. Back in 2008, the markets went down a little bit, and it just did for a while, and it just went up. During that period of time, and lots of economists and professors predicted that the market would be down, thanks for 30%, including the International Monetary Fund. They say, because our economy does not sustain the uptrend of the real estate market.
Right.
They're wrong. The three drivers, invisible drivers behind this market. Number one is the lower interest rate.
Right.
We're still experiencing good low interest rate.
Right.
The second one is competitive Canadian currency exchange. In terms of RMB, Chinese currencies versus Canadian currencies, it used to be a few years back, it's 6.5, even 6.8. But right now it's 5.2 or 5.1, sometimes 5.0. In terms of currency exchange, people there back in China, they get a whole bunch of advantage.
Right.
If they want to move the money overseas to buy a piece of property in Vancouver. Behind all this, as I just mentioned, an inflow of immigrants, especially under the 10-year multiple visa.
Okay.
Even including those visitors. You know, what is the purpose of visitors behind Chinese, the tourists? The major reason for behind them is to look whether there's a house to buy. There's a chance to invest in the real estate market.
Right.
This is behind the brain when it come over, except for tourist sightseeing stuff.
Right. Okay, so that's an interesting point what you have said, because a lot of tourists come now over here. But according to the policies, tell us a little bit about that. That can a tourist or a person who has just come here for tourist purposes, can he or she buy property here?
Oh, yes, of course.
Okay.
There's no distinction between foreign buyers and the Canadian buyers a couple of years ago, except for the Liberal Party just
The tax,
last year
15%
just
tax,
kick in the 15% of property transfer
Right,
tax.
right.
Now the NDP, new government, thinking of maybe revoking the property tax. Other than that, there's no distinction.
Okay.
Because in terms of the occupation and the form B or form A registration, this is self-declared.
Right.
You can declare you're a student, you declare a business person, you can declare you're a housewife.
Okay.
Because there's a newspaper medium exposure saying some of the foreign students declare their own occupation as a student, but holds $3 million, $5 million of property in West Vancouver near UBC.
Right.
Which is, which is surprising, but
Right.
we have to understand that lots of the real estate market money flow from overseas. Although there's a money control, currency control policy there, they always manage to find a way
Right.
to get money out of China.
Do you believe that when Chinese investors or Chinese people come and buy property here, is that the major reason that the prices of properties are going up, or there are some other reasons also?
And maybe there's some other reason. Maybe this is not one only reason. There's
Okay.
maybe three reasons altogether. Just
Right.
mix them all together. That drives the real estate market
Right.
upward.
So it's one factor, not the major factor.
Yes, one of the factors, one of
Okay.
the major factors. In terms of the trend, I have to compare this market here with those cities in Hong Kong, China, Shanghai real estate market is really high right now.
Okay.
Beijing really high right now. The apartments there maybe is 1.5 times the price we have here in Vancouver.
More expensive?
Yes, more
Okay.
expensive than here.
Okay.
So in terms of the trend, it's going to be downward or upward. Look at the markets outside. So still competitive,
Right.
although we always claim that this is too high for local people.
Okay, tell us, we have also heard about news from China that China is trying to, stop this trend of people immigrating to other countries, and they don't want that money to go out. Is some effort being done by the Chinese government with this aspect, or is just mere hearsay?
Yes, the Chinese government has exercised of lots of control policies recently to prevent the flow of money from China to overseas.
Right.
It used to be a policy already existence a while ago for many years. And there's a cap for you to remit money overseas per person per year.
Okay.
Used to be $50,000 US dollars per person per year. But for other purposes, say if you have a student studying overseas, just apply for remit more, which is okay. Used to be okay, but now they just tighten this policy.
Right.
I think in majority with the purpose of control the money flowing outside the country.
Right. And finally, what do you foresee now? With all this talk, government regulation also, the 15% tax also, but nothing seems to stop. What are you foreseeing in the future in this particular market?
I think this is partly because Vancouver, we look at it internationally. Then
Right.
Vancouver is very unique. This land is very unique. As Mark Twain used to say, I still use it. You can make many other things, but you cannot make land.
Right.
If you cannot make a land, it's so much land in Vancouver. If everybody wants to get into it, quite a piece of it, the prices, of course, will be up.
Right.
Maybe just a little bit temporarily, but in the end, it's going to be a strong market
Right.
for Vancouver.
So people dealing in real estate need not worry, need not fear till the time these factors what you have talked about, like the low interest rates, the currency exchange rate, and of course the visa system which has been adopted by the country. So things will be normal and everything will flow as it is.
The fear isn't very normal.
Right.
In other stock market as well. But sometimes people observe fear in a time.
Right.
And then the market will become normal. And it's going to be a new normal for Vancouver.
Great. It was a pleasure talking to you. Thank you for your perspective, for coming over here and talking to our viewers. And we'll continue this policy of, we'll like to have you more often over here so that you can focus on some particular aspects and bring it to our viewers. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So ਅੱਜ ਮਿਸਟਰ ਜਾਰਜ ਲੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਕਿ ਇੱਕ ਨਾਮਵਰ ਲਾਇਰ ਨੇ ਵਕੀਲ ਨੇ ਇਹ ਵੈਂਕੂਵਰ ਤੋਂ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਇਹ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਕਿ ਮਾਰਕੀਟ ਇਸੇ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਅੱਗੇ ਚੱਲੇਗੀ। ਇਸ ਦੇ ਮੁੱਖ ਕਾਰਨ ਇਹ ਨੇ ਕਿ ਪਹਿਲੀ ਗੱਲ ਤਾਂ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਲੋ ਇੰਟਰਸਟ ਰੇਟ ਹੈਗਾ, ਨੰਬਰ 2 ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਕਰੰਸੀ ਐਕਸਚੇਂਜ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਚਾਈਨਾ ਦਾ ਪੈਸਾ ਤੇ ਜਦੋਂ ਕੈਨੇਡੀਅਨ ਡਾਲਰ ਨਾਲ ਜਦੋਂ ਇਸ ਨੂੰ ਕਨਵਰਟ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਤੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਵਧੀਆ ਹੈ। ਤੇ ਥਰਡਲੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਕਿਹਾ ਕਿ ਸਰਕਾਰ ਦੀਆਂ ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਪਾਲਿਸੀਜ਼ ਨੇ ਤੇ ਖਾਸ ਤੌਰ ਤੇ 10 ਈਅਰ ਮਲਟੀਪਲ ਵੀਜ਼ਾ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਦਿੱਤਾ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ, ਉਸ ਕਾਰਨ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਲੋਕ ਇੱਥੇ ਆ ਰਹੇ ਨੇ। ਵੈਂਕੂਵਰ ਯੂਨੀਕ ਹੈ, ਇੱਥੇ ਅਜੇ ਵੀ ਰੀਅਲ ਏਸਟੇਟ ਸ਼ੰਘਾਈ, ਬੀਜਿੰਗ ਅਤੇ ਹੋਰ ਸ਼ਹਿਰਾਂ ਨਾਲੋਂ ਸਸਤੀ ਹੈ। ਸੋ ਇਹ ਟ੍ਰੈਂਡ ਜੇਕਰ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਹੀ ਰਿਹਾ ਚੱਲਦਾ ਰਹੇਗਾ, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪੰਡਿਤਸ ਨੇ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਇਹ ਪ੍ਰੈਡਿਕਟ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਮਾਰਕੀਟ ਖਤਮ ਹੋ ਜਾਏਗੀ, ਮਾਰਕੀਟ ਡੁੱਬ ਜਾਏਗੀ, ਸੋ ਇਨਵੈਸਟਰਸ ਨੂੰ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਲੋਕ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਰੀਅਲ ਏਸਟੇਟ ਨਾਲ ਡੀਲ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ ਘਬਰਾਉਣ ਦੀ ਲੋੜ ਨਹੀਂ। ਇਸੇ ਤਰੀਕੇ ਨਾਲ ਟ੍ਰੈਂਡ ਚੱਲਦਾ ਰਹੇਗਾ ਅਤੇ ਆਉਣ ਵਾਲਾ ਸਮਾਂ ਵੀ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ ਰੀਅਲ ਏਸਟੇਟ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਬਿਹਤਰ ਹੀ ਹੋਵੇਗਾ।